So we know that what happens in your gut can actually affect your brain.
Mm-hmm.
And that includes your mood and anxiety symptoms.
Mm-hmm.
And there's no question that what we eat affects our gut microbiome, affects the amount of inflammation in our gut. Um, our gut actually produces hormones and even neurotransmitters
Yeah.
that make it up to the brain. A lot of people know the word serotonin and they think
Mm-hmm.
about that as it relates to depression. What's surprising to a lot of people is that actually 95% of the serotonin in the human body is actually produced in the gut. It's
Wow.
not it's not in the brain, it's in your gut.
Wow. I didn't know
And
that.
so if you think about depression and if it's at all related to serotonin, we need to think about your gut and your gut health
Mm-hmm.
and your gut function. And guess what? Your diet plays a profound role in that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So so in terms of generalities, I'm going to talk the thing that I feel confident about saying is that people should try their best to eat real whole
Mm-hmm.
foods. Whether you want to be a vegan, whether you want to be an omnivore, whether you want to be more animal-based foods, like eat real whole foods
Yeah.
no matter what. So trying to stay away from processed foods, packaged foods, things with artificial ingredients, things with all of that kind of stuff. If you're in a position to be able to afford organic
Mm-hmm.
foods, that those are better because increasingly there are concerns about some of the pesticides
Yeah.
and other things that get used on our foods and
Yeah.
how those might influence our metabolism. To give you one clear example of something that, for the most part, most people think is pretty benign, or like, Diet Coke.
Mm.
Diet Coke and lots of other diet sodas and
Yeah.
diet food have an artificial sweetener called aspartame in it. It turns out that aspartame, some recent studies, these were done in mice, so we're not 100% certain that they translate to humans, but there's reason to believe that probably does translate to humans. So some studies done in mice showed that aspartame can actually cause anxiety in
Mm.
mice. But the disturbing part is that those mice can then transmit that anxiety to their children, and then their children transmit that anxiety to their children. So
Wow.
that so that aspartame appears to affect epigenetics,
Wow.
and that gets transmitted to our children and our children's children. We have really good evidence that trans fats
Mm-hmm.
can do similar things. They can actually cause all sorts of metabolic harm, meaning they lead to obesity and diabetes, heart disease. They also lead to mental disorders. They lead to
Mm.
Alzheimer's disease and depression, anxiety. And that actually, if your mother ate a lot of trans fats when she was pregnant with you, that actually gets transmitted to children as well.
Wow.
The good
Wow.
news is that trans fats are now banned and they're
Yeah.
now outlawed because we know how horrible and toxic they are. But I just invite you to think how many other substances are
Right.
there that,
Right. A million, right? So many, especially in the United States, unfortunately.
yeah,
I mean, there's so many things that we're eating in a regular, just, I say standard American diet, but I'm just saying the average American that these substances are banned in other countries,
they are.
It's crazy.
They are.
So one of the things, and again, this is from a personal fascination standpoint. You talk a lot about the ketogenic diet. Do you follow? Is that the diet you follow personally?
No, not right now. So I
Yeah.
have definitely been on low carbohydrate or
Hmm.
lower carbohydrate diets for 20 years.
Yeah.
And it was actually a low carb diet that ended up being ketogenic for me,
Hmm.
that actually helped me put my kind of chronic depression
Yeah.
into full remission, off
Yeah.
medications, and I haven't been on meds in over 20, 25 years
Wow. I
for
believe
any
it.
of it. And but but my so the fascinating thing is that for the last 6-7 years, I have been using the ketogenic diet to treat people with very serious mental disorders
Mm,
like schizophrenia and bipolar disorder.
wow.
So, although most people know keto as a weight loss diet,
Yeah.
and some people have heard of it as a fad diet, and some people have heard it's a dangerous, horrible, awful animal sourced diet, and nobody should do it. It's dangerous. Everybody's gonna have heart attacks. Lots of controversy around the keto diet.
Mm-hmm.
Unbeknownst to most people, the ketogenic diet is actually a 100-year-old evidence-based treatment for epilepsy.
Yeah.
It can stop seizures even when medications fail to stop those
Wow.
seizures.